Hey everybody, how you doing? Um, so funny, I tried to record this live, which I'm not very good at doing the live things to begin with, but I guess it was recording and I didn't know it. I don't know. Anyway, there was an issue with my Simply Rogan page on Facebook. They wouldn't let the live video go through, so I'm just going to go ahead and record this one, and we'll push it up to all the pages later. Um, But so what is Simply Rogan? I can tell you I am Simply Rogan. Uh, over the last probably 10 years, I've tried to start doing podcasts and recordings and different things. I've done some different biblical things, Bible studies. Rusty and I used to do a little talk once a week on Bible verses and how it affects our community. And it's something that I've always enjoyed and I've always felt called to do, but life and work kind of got in the way of me being able to do that on a regular basis. Now, as luck would have it, I guess, in October, I was laid off from my job. And although it sucks to not have the regular income, as far as my health goes, being unemployed has, kind of agreed with me. I feel like I'm better rested. I'm not killing myself working 60, 70 hours a week for somebody else to mismanage the money and let me go anyway. So I've kind of been just laying low since that happened and trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. And, I've been throwing out some resumes here and there. The market's not that great. There are a lot of jobs, but um, I think AI has a lot to do with how resumes get picked up nowadays. So I have to do some more work on my resume if I want to find something, but my heart's not really in it right now, so I'm not doing that. My heart is in, trying to develop some side gigs and some different ways to make money that don't have me answering to somebody else at the pace that I was having to. You all know that I worked for a very large online retailer for about a year and a half. And I worked for them the whole time I had cancer and was going through chemo treatments. I was very lucky. They were very patient with me and they allowed me to do work from the couch. But nonetheless, I was still working 40 to 50 hours a week while I was going through chemo and radiation. And then I got recruited away from there to go be a director of operations for the last company that I worked for. And I enjoyed the job. I didn't so much enjoy the culture of that company as much as I thought I was going to. And it's difficult to do a job when it's still like a small business that wants to be a big business, but the owner doesn't really want to change the things that he's doing to help that business progress. So it turned out it was better that you know I got was included in a layoff. So that being said, here I am now trying to figure out what am I going to do to make a living, and I really feel like maybe I can be of some help to other people in this area. Uh, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you probably saw about 2 months ago, I had posted that I had started a credit repair business. Well, I can tell you that I got ripped off $7,000 by that company. And that in and of itself led me to where I am right now. The fact that if you do an internet search, there's so many different things that people say you can make money. They advertise it as turnkey business, you know, um, franchise opportunity. And a lot of times it's just not true. And you're looking at somebody that probably from, wow, when I was in college, I started looking at all these employed business schemes, you know. I mean, I worked for one of the very first cell phone sales companies. The very first cell phone that I was selling, this thing was probably this big. It was huge, this huge cell phone. It came in a big black case. I don't remember what they sold for. And that was back when you had to pay by the minute, you know. I've done, what is it called? New Skin, I think was one of the products that I sold. I sold Amway, all the pyramid marketing things, tried those way back in the day. You name it, I tried it. And then I, you know, moved into a different stream of self-employment where I owned an IT company for several years, probably about 10 years. Then I had an itch to have a restaurant, and I opened my first restaurant, which was Bailey's Bistro in Walton Manors. And it was a lot of fun. It was a great gig, but again, I didn't do the proper research before starting that business. And, you know, we made it a year and had to get out. So I got out, went back to running an IT company, but I still had that restaurant bug. So I went from into another restaurant, which was Kel's Kitchen, which was that was kind of cool concept. It was a breakfast and lunch restaurant that was in an industrial plaza. Now, it was a much more affordable gig because we didn't have to pay rent to have that business. So we just had our costs. Now, the things that we didn't scope out properly in that business, you know, the plaza that we were in wouldn't allow us to advertise to the other businesses there. So how were we supposed to let them know we were there? So, you know, there's always a catch with different things that you try. Now, with that business, we did make it 3 years. But after that, I went back into IT, but working for somebody else. And I was the chief operating officer for an IT company in Fort Lauderdale. Again, you know, that small and mid-sized business, if you don't have the right person at the helm, it's just not going to be a long-lasting gig because they don't make good financial decisions. They burn through money. They don't think the plan for the future, and you know, then what do? You know, the people that are working for them are sacrificed. So I went from there back into self-employment in IT again, and I was doing pretty good when I got recruited by the large online retailer. And I thought, oh, wow, I've never worked for a big corporation before. Let me go do this. Well, that was nice until COVID was over and they weren't having the profits that they wanted, and they needed to lower their staffing without alarming their investors. So that's when the big return to office, sorry, push came. And if I were going to return to office, I would have had to move to a totally different state or 4 hours south in the state that I'm in, which is Florida, to Miami. And you know, at that point in time, I just bought a house, just finished doing cancer treatments. I was in no shape to pack up and move. So luckily, I was recruited by this other company and was able to go in there and be their director of operations. I was heading up a software creation program. So we were developing a software end-to-end program. And that was kind of cool. I really, really enjoyed that project. Um, but again, I didn't enjoy the company so much. So this last layoff wasn't necessarily a bad thing. So, like I said, I've just been kind of trying to figure out, you know, what to do. I purchased that sham credit repair business. I won't say the name of it because I am fighting them right now to get my money back. There's a lot of things that they don't do properly, and I should have done my homework better, and I didn't. And so again, I think that I can help other people. That you know, the way the economy is now, a lot of people need to do side gigs and they're looking for side gigs. but what really works? So I'm going to take you through a process of what works, what doesn't work. We're going to work through some of them live. Now, I will tell you that where I'm starting. So where I'm currently starting is I have my house, and luckily, as part of my house, I have my house. My property has two houses on it. So I live in one house, and the other house is set up as a 2-1 apartment and a 1-1 apartment. So I Airbnb those. So that's one of the side gigs that I am doing. Now, I can tell you that Airbnb has worked pretty good for me. Um, we don't do a lot of pushing for it, and we still probably we're making a good penny with Airbnb. So if you do have the capability to Airbnb a room or a part of your house or some kind of property, it's definitely a gig that can pay your mortgage on a property. Okay. So I'm starting there. Now, the next gig that I'm looking at is starting a bookkeeping company. And I just started doing the bookkeeping in December. I um, I did sign up for a program to tell me how to get started in that business, and I will tell you that that program was somewhat worth it. I'm not sure it was worth the total amount of money that I spent on it. But they do have excellent support on the back end. So if you're working with a customer and you need help, there are professional accountants and people in the backside of that business that will help you make sure that you're setting up your products right. So what kind of experience did I have to set up a bookkeeping business? Nothing more than my college degree and the couple of accounting classes that I took, and the fact that I've been self-employed. I've been using QuickBooks since QuickBooks came out. And so most of the accounting work or the bookkeeping work that I do in QuickBooks Online, preferably if the client has that. Now, I can't tell you that I have 100 clients right now. I don't. Okay. I have one customer that is actually a friend of mine, and he just bought a restaurant. So I am currently working for him in that business. But now, what we're going to do with these podcasts is we're going to look at the ways that you're supposed to advertise to get customers. So a lot of people talk about the click-through marketing on Facebook, where you pay per click, or you pay for keyword advertising. Or is it more beneficial to buy a list of leads from one of the online websites and advertise, through email marketing campaign? Or is it better to do searches on Google for businesses, right? I mean, wouldn't you love to know all this stuff before you start a business? How do you actually find clients? So I'm going to walk you through all the steps that I take to find clients. And we're going to do some podcast interviews with people that are self-employed, people that have experience in these areas that maybe they can guide us through. Maybe, so maybe we can find a way to help each other make these side gig works. Now, if you do a search on the internet for, what kinds of side gigs are there, everybody will tell you, oh, here's the top 10, the top 15, the top 5 ways to make, a 6-figure income, with a side hustle. And they list everything from scooping dog poop to putting in light bulbs to joining a company like ShareTown. There's hundreds of different ideas out there. So we're going to work through some of them. We're going to see which ones really work. Can we really make enough money to get by? And I'm hoping the answer is yes, because I have bills to pay. So I'm going to be your live guinea pig to show you, what works, what doesn't work. If you have something you want us to look into, put it in one of the chats, send us a DM, send me an email, call me, text me. Tell me what you want us to look into, and we'll look into it. Okay? Some of the other things we're going to do is we're going to invite some people on to teach us about health. You know, I had tonsil head and neck cancer 2 years ago. I'm still recovering from it. Physically, I'm pretty good, really. I'm in pretty good shape. I still have problems eating, some problems talking. So every now and again, I may sound a little funny to you. Promise I'm not slurring or lisping because I'm drunk or, you know, in the past it could have been that, but no, not anymore. Um, but yeah, so we're going to invite some people in to give us some holistic advice, some physical fitness advice. I saw, you know, some people saying that they wanted to start doing some podcasts. So I'm going to invite them on and hopefully get people from our community. When I say our community, it could be anybody who believes in God, anybody who's gay, anybody who's a girl, anybody who's a guy. It doesn't matter. Whatever, you know, if you want to be here, we want you here. So when I say our community, I mean you. Okay. So don't anybody wonder what I mean by our community. But when I say, you know, I'm going to pull somebody from our community, that's usually like the gay community that I'm talking about. Uh, because most of the people that I know are from Walton Manors, Florida. And I know a lot of really successful people that are in the health and fitness area. Some people that have cured themselves of illnesses and done a lot of research, and they're dying to share that information with you. I have a really fascinating guy that was sent home to die with cancer. And we're going to have him on because he did so much research on other cancer cures since he couldn't be treated. And he ended up curing himself. And he shared some of those things with me. And I do those things now as part of my daily routine. And I'm going to share with you my daily routine, how I maintain myself. 2 years ago, I was 102 pounds. Now I'm 127 pounds. Prior to having cancer, I was 150 pounds. But I've been able to maintain the 125 to 130 pounds for about 6 to 7 months now. So I feel like I found some things that really work, and I'm going to share those with you. So if you know anybody that's had head and neck cancer, tonsil cancer, I'm happy to share the things that I do because eating is a chore, and it's not as enjoyable as it used to be. So we're going to share all those things. We're going to share some financial information. We're going to have some podcasters come on that do different things in the financial industry, invest in crypto, invest in stocks. We're going to bring people in to give us really good advice. People that we know and that we can, maybe put some firsthand information. A lot of times you see some of these other people talking and they have such a following. You wonder how much truth is really behind it, how much they're really doing for the money. Okay. So we're going to do that. We're also going to study the word. I'm a Jesus freak and that's not going to change. God has changed my life for sure. I know that not everybody that will follow this podcast believes in God, and that's okay. I don't want anybody to not follow for that reason. Every video is not going to be part of that context. I would hope that you would still watch those videos so that you can learn where we are, and maybe we'll have some people, some guests on that are atheists, that are Muslim, that are Buddhists, so that we can all come together. The whole idea of this is to come together, help each other, and provide information. And don't forget music. We have to have guests on that have to do with music. I played in bands. I've sang. It's one of the things I love doing the most. And music is still a very big part of my life. And we're going to have some people on that are artists that do some amazing things in the music industry. And I think that will be a lot of fun. We want to celebrate people's successes. We're going to bring people in to talk about mental health, so if you're suffering from depression or different things or substance abuse, we're going to have people on to talk about that. We're going to talk about real things here. We're not going to talk about, just, we're going to talk about happy things too, pets, animals. I have dogs, so occasionally these videos are going to get interrupted by the barking of 5 dogs, and that's okay. But for now, I just wanted to do, a little introduction, let you know what we're going to do, let you know what to be on the lookout for. I'm not sure what the pace of the videos are going to be, but right now, what I'm going to tell you is the next video is going to be all about the work that I'm doing towards setting up some side gigs. We're going to concentrate on ShareTown. If you don't know what ShareTown is, it's a business um, when somebody orders oversized equipment, oversized furniture or something like a mattress, mostly mattress. I think ShareTown is mostly mattresses, but they do some furniture and exercise equipment. So say you buy it online from a retailer, you get it, you don't want it, you want to return it. ShareTown, it takes the order from the retailer for the pickup of that merchandise, and then as a ShareTown representative, you go pick up the item, store it, and resell it for a portion of the funds. So I'm going to take you through the ShareTown setup, and we're going to follow that to see, can you make money? What are the headaches? What are the things that you need to know before you go through the hassle of signing up? So we're going to bring you through ShareTown. We're going to bring you through getting a bookkeeping business set up, how that works. And the other thing that we're going to do is just we're going to look at a kind of double your money type of business, or just finding an object around your house or getting an object for free from somebody, selling it online, taking that money after you sell it. We're going to reinvest it in something that we can sell for double that money. And we're going to follow that through and see, does that really make an income? I think there's a guy that is a millionaire or something that got himself dropped off on TV somewhere, and he supposedly built the business, from scratch doing that. But it's hard to believe that any of it's true when they got TV cameras following them the whole time. All right. So we're going to do it live here in real time. And I'm going to tell you all the steps that I do, and so that you can replicate them if they work. And if they don't work, you can leave those steps out of what you do. Okay. Now, what we call the business Simply Rogan. Because I'm Rogan. In the past, I've started several ministries, Sinister Minister, um, Whosoever's, Lord God Almighty Ministries. But, the purpose of this podcast is not just to be um, focused on the Bible. I want to introduce the Bible into it, but I don't want to just be focused on it. I will absolutely share with you the ways that God has blessed me and provide my testimonies. Very important to me to always give the glory to God for where I am. So that's not going to be taken out of it. Or where I didn't feel right with doing the ministry is because I'm not ordained, didn't go to college for it. I don't have a degree in biblical studies. Um, now, do I think that disqualifies me from teaching? No. But this platform makes me feel more comfortable, makes me feel more authentic. I want to be vulnerable. I want to be authentic. I want to be real. This is about telling the truth and helping you know what works. So for now, we're going to move forward with this Simply Rogan. Everybody in my life has always called me by my last name. I very rarely have a first name. So I like it because it's just going to be authentically me. I really hope that you will like, subscribe, follow my channel. On Facebook, we are Simply Rogan. I'm going to put the links to the different places that you can follow us. Okay, so Facebook, I have a Simply Rogan page. On Instagram, I'm also Simply Rogan. TikTok, Simply Rogan. YouTube, Simply Rogan. Rumble, Simply Rogan. And I think that's it. So if you don't mind, follow us. And as soon as we get, a couple hundred followers, I will start having guests on. We'll start lining up the podcast guests. We'll start advertising ahead of time who they are. But in the meantime, before we start bringing guests in, because I want to have an audience for them. I don't want to just bring people in to talk to me and then nobody sees it. I want it to be beneficial for you, and I want it to be beneficial for the people that come onto the podcast. Okay. So please follow, please like, please subscribe. I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Anybody out there know what I was going to tell you next? No? Okay. So with that said, we're coming up on 30 minutes here, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I thank you so much for your time. Anybody that watched this through, I appreciate you. I appreciate the people that are going to follow this. If you've got ideas for things that you want to see, maybe we want to cook something, maybe you want a cooking lesson, um, maybe you want some fitness advice, maybe you want some prayer, um, health advice, anything that you can think of that you want. We'll find a professional, come in and provide it. We're not going to tell you how to do it. We're not providing that type of advice. We're not telling you to invest. We're not telling you to change your health habits. We want, that's, I think, my unofficial disclaimer. I don't think I gave any advice in this video that I have to worry about. um, have to be very careful with the words, I guess, right? In today's society. Oh, my God. Let's see. Let me just check and see if I missed anything. I don't think so. I love you all. I really do. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a blessed day and just be happy, be blessed, be joyful. And we'll put up another video in the next couple of days to cover getting signed up for a couple of these side hustles so that you know what works. Once I get better at this recording, we'll do some live streams. But for right now, this is my comfort zone, and we'll stay here doing it this way. All right. God bless. I love you. Thanks again. Bye.